Disclaimer. This video's information is being provided for informational, educational, and general interest purposes only. The information in this video is not intended to shock, enrage, or otherwise provoke the viewer. The sole purpose of this video was to raise awareness of true crime-related events. Copyright disclaimer: under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Non-profit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use.
Welcome and thank you for visiting Crime Champs. Before we begin, please subscribe, click the notification bell, like, share, and leave a comment. We always appreciate your contribution. Today's video is about involuntary manslaughter, felonious assault, endangering children, and gross abuse of a corpse. Involuntary manslaughter is punished less harshly than other types of homicide, but it is still a serious offense. Involuntary manslaughter, for example, is charged as a first-degree misdemeanor. When an assault is severe enough to be considered a felony, such as when a deadly weapon is used or the intent is to commit another crime, it is referred to as felonious assault. It is a serious offense with serious consequences for the offender. A parent, guardian, or other person responsible for a child under the age of 18, or a person who employs or supervises such a person, commits an offense if he knowingly endangers the child's welfare by breaching a duty of care, protection, or support. Abuse of corpse occurs when a person intentionally and unlawfully disinters, digs up, removes, conceals, mutilates, or destroys a human corpse, or any part or ashes thereof. Without further ado, let's get into the video. A caller from Pakistan reported that Rodriguez had buried her son Jordan, 5, in her own backyard. The caller identified himself as the brother of Larissa Rodriguez's boyfriend. The caller stated that his brother and Larissa Rodriguez's boyfriend, Christopher Rodriguez, assisted in the burial. The brother of Christopher Rodriguez said, "My brother told me something and I just can't sleep at night," according to the caller who informed dispatch. He told me that something happened to one of the kids, but no one called the police. In essence, he and his partner buried the child in the backyard. Prior to being detained in Medina County Jail in October on unrelated charges, the caller claimed Christopher Rodriguez had informed him about the burial of the child. The caller continued, "He's been known to lie a lot. But if anyone was going to report my brother to the police, it would be me." The caller added that he had been in the United States Air Force and was currently working as a contractor abroad in Pakistan. This is the 911 call.
How you doing, ma'am? I'm calling from overseas, but I guess I need to talk to like a detective or somebody, or I don't know if you can. Basically, it's kind of messed up the whole situation, but my brother told me something, and I just can't sleep at night as far as, you know, what I don't know. I just kind of feel like I need to say something.
Something for concerning your brother?
Yeah, just
what?
I know. It sounds crazy, but
what district is it? Where is he?
He lives off of Detroit.
What
so
is
I don't know his
issue?
direct address. Basically, he told me that something happened with one of the kids, and they didn't call the cops, and basically him and his girlfriend buried the kid in the backyard. Now, mind you, my brother is known to lie a lot, so I kind of like blew it off, and I was like, "Hey, man, I hope that ain't true." It's not his kid; it's one of her kids. What he told me was he came home. His girlfriend called him. He rushed home, and then I think the little boy was like 4 or 5. And mind you, I've only seen these kids like one time, so I couldn't tell you who they are or what it is about. But he told me that the boy was unresponsive. And I was like, okay. Well, he's like, well, this kid had a lot of problems. Like he had like one lung and one kidney, and I don't even know if that part is true because I don't know these kids because he's only been with this girl maybe 2 years, and I've been like overseas the whole time. So I only really met her like maybe once or twice in my life. You know?
What is your brother's address?
That's the thing. I don't know his address. I can give you his name, though. It's Christopher Rodriguez. And I think you can pull it up that way.
C? Christopher, with a K or a C?
Oh, what a C. What a C. Doesn't the story just sound crazy, though? It sounds absolutely insane, right?
Can you spell Rodriguez?
It's a common spelling. Rodriguez.
Okay. Do you know his date of birth?
Yeah, it's 1/12/80. No, I'm sorry, it's not 1/12 at all. I'm about to give you my birthday. It should be 8/11/81, but sometimes it's 8/12/81, so it's one of the two. Because basically, I know it is 8/12, but I know his birth certificate at one point said 8/11, so I don't know which one.
Okay, do you know?
Really goes off of.
Do you know his girlfriend's name?
Yeah, his girlfriend's name is Larissa Rodriguez. We're not married. She just has last name and her name is L-A-R. I think it's L-A-R-R-I-S-S-A or it's L-A-R-I-S-S-A. Now, mind you, right now he's actually locked up, I think, in Medina County for child support. So he's already. Now, mind you, I don't even know if this is true. I really don't. I just know he told me. I couldn't sleep. And I was just like, yo, you need to...
So when did this happen?
He didn't really give me an exact time frame. He just made it seem like it was like months ago. And that's why I was really mad, because I was like, I thought he kind of told me like, within a day or so. And I was like, wait, you mean this is months ago? And he was like, yeah, man. I was like, what on earth would make you not call the cops or call the ambulance?
When did he tell you that? When was it that he told you that? When did he tell you that?
He told me right before he went in jail. I don't know if that was a couple weeks ago or whatever it was. Whenever he got locked up, that's when he told me. But I didn't, mind you, I didn't really believe him. I was like, there's no way this is true. And then he got locked up the next day, so I could never really confirm whether or not what he told me was either a lie or it was true. But I don't know. I just kind of felt like it needs to at least be looked into, because I really don't feel he's at fault, and maybe I'm being biased because that's my brother, because what kind of mother would bury her kid in the backyard? I don't know what kind of mother would do that. I don't want anybody to possibly turn them in.
I mean, things like that happen before. I really, really do appreciate your call and you standing up for what's right.
Oh man, it's just because it's just a sad situation, because I know, and he was crying when he told me, and that's what made me kind of believe sincerity, but I was never able to verify directly. But I know I couldn't sleep at night. And I was like, man, you know what? And then when I told this person, I was like, hey, what do you think? And they're like, oh, I'm going to call the cops. And I'm like, well, man, I was like, I told them, like, hey, I'm getting ready to come back maybe within, I could literally be in Cleveland maybe on Wednesday if everything goes well.
Okay.
With my flight and everything. And I was going to just do it in person, but I was like, I'm not going to have that happen and not come for me. And I even told him too, like before he went to, when he finally got locked up, I said, hey man, hearing the story from you directly, he's like, I can take a lie detector test. I know I didn't hurt that kid, blah, blah, blah. He's like, I can prove that. That's a fact. He said, when I came home, the kid was already dead. And I was like, are you serious right now? And then, like, the phone hung up, and then he had to go to court, and then they violated his probation for something. I don't know. And they ended up going to go in jail for, I think, 90 days for child support.
We're going to have the police check it out, okay? And they try to get it.
And he told me, all he told me was that the kid was buried in the backyard. Now, that's all I know. And she had so many
backyard.
kids. Yeah, right in his backyard. And that's all he says, like, we buried him in the backyard. But the kid in question, I don't know what his name is, but I guess he has a lot of problems. So I guess the only way to really figure it out is figure out how many kids she actually has, and then figure out which one's missing. Because what he did tell me that made me kind of believe his story was, he said him and his girlfriend told the older kid that he was staying with her sister, who also has a special needs kid, and that way they don't question it. You see what I'm saying? Like this, and I was like, it just,
okay. So
I don't know.
They may think that he's with her sister. Right.
Exactly. So
right.
the older kids might actually think, hey, this, you know,
exactly.
he's with his...
Okay.
So they might not question things.
Larissa Rodriguez, who was seen speaking with 2 Cleveland police officers while sporting a white tank top and dark-colored shorts, was called to check on the welfare of her 5-year-old son, Jordan. Jordan is said to have been killed by the 34-year-old, who is also accused of having his body buried in the backyard of their house on West 80th Street, between Detroit and Lake Avenues. After 3 hours of digging, the FBI and Cuyahoga County Medical Examiner found Jordan's body on December 19, 2017. Jordan was last seen alive in September, and according to Cuyahoga County prosecutors, investigators think he passed away around September 22nd. The home's backyard was previously searched by police using a cadaver dog, but they turned up nothing. Through interviews, investigators learned more details about Jordan's body's whereabouts. The medical examiner and FBI assisted in the body's recovery.
She's got 5 kids.
Are your kids here? You mind if you step in? Okay. You have one of 4 or 5-year-old. How old are your children? 4. Okay.
He just turned 4.
Is it a boy? A girl? What?
A little boy.
A boy. What's the boy's name?
Anthony.
Okay. See if you can get a name.
Is there anything?
Well, we got a call. Want us to check on the well-being of the 4 to 5-year-old kid.
All my kids are good.
Okay. What can we see?
They're like,
Okay, I believe you.
don't mind that. But I have them all poking out in my eyes.
Okay. Okay.
Negative, just on the brother of Christopher Rodriguez and his girlfriend, Larissa Rodriguez.
Let me know. Fine.
All right. Hello, kids. All right. All right.
Apparently Larissa has...
What's your name, Mel?
Apparently Larissa has 9 other children and she told the other...
Is there, I mean, a reason why?
Hold on. You have any idea or anything?
Yeah.
She got 5 kids. She said she has 9.
It's like 4 in that room up there.
Jordan Rodriguez's mother, Larissa Rodriguez, is unaware that her boyfriend's brother informed the police that Jordan Rodriguez is buried in her backyard. Larissa is concealing something, as can be seen if you pay close attention to her eyes and body language.
Watch the walls. How many kids do you have, man?
I have 9 altogether.
Okay.
But I have some that don't live with me. But these are the ones that do live with me.
Okay.
Where's Christopher at?
He's in jail. He's been in jail.
What's he in jail for?
For child support. He's been in there since like October.
Was he here when the dog bit the lady?
Yeah.
That was him, right? Is that him?
Yeah. But he hasn't even been there.
No.
He's been in Medina County.
Both the number of children Christopher has and the amount of child support he owes are unknown. He had to serve 6 months in prison for failing to pay his child support.
That's why I was surprised when my son came down and said, "Mommy, the police." I said, "Huh?"
So Christopher's been in jail for how long?
Since October.
Since October.
Yeah. He's been in Medina County.
And look,
He's been there October 25th.
What's his last name?
Huh?
What's Christopher's last name?
Rodriguez.
Rodriguez? Is that your husband?
No, we're not legally married.
Gotcha. He's in jail in Medina?
Yeah. He's in Medina County. He's been in there since October 25th. October 24th, October 25th, something like that.
Do you have a child with special needs?
Oh, Jordan? Yes, I do.
How old is Jordan?
Jordan, he is just turned 5.
Where's Jordan at?
He's with his dad. He's gonna be visiting for the holiday. He's not here with us right now, for the holiday.
Where's Dad at?
In Texas. He's not even here. Is that who you guys are pertaining to?
Maybe, possibly.
What was the call mainly about?
Just checking the welfare.
Oh. I get these all the time because I got ignorant ones who want to sit there call on me.
Do you know, what's his dad's name, Jordan's dad?
Patrick. Pat.
Do you have a number to Patrick? Can you reach that?
You need a list of
Not
all your
right
kids'
now.
names.
A list? Can I get a pen? And
Sure.
paper?
Or you could tell me.
Here, I'll write it down because it's a lot easier.
Okay. Firstborn, all the way down the line. Supposedly Jordan is with Dad
Yes,
in
he's
Texas.
with Dad.
We can call him.
Yeah.
Huh? Right now, I don't have the number because he was going to get a new number.
Okay. But he's got family, so we can
Yes.
talk to them.
According to police reports, Larissa Rodriguez informed the authorities that her son had traveled to Houston, Texas, to see his biological father. She was unable to give any information about her son or the biological father, including a phone number. 9 kids are raised by Larissa Rodriguez as her own. Her home, according to social workers, was in deplorable and unsanitary conditions, according to court documents. When they arrived, a social worker saw one of the kids in the house eating a sandwich that had been filled with cockroaches. The Cuyahoga County Children and Family Services took emergency custody of the 4 residents of the home. According to a county spokeswoman, 2 of Larissa's other children were taken by the county years ago, and another lives with a father. Rodriguez has been the subject of 13 neglect or abuse investigations by social workers since 1999. The latest occurred in December 2016. In February, that case was concluded.
The oldest ones that they're probably talking about too is Angel Gilbert. I haven't had custody of them since years ago. Do you need that information too? Or?
Well, you say you had
All
9.
your kids.
Those, I'm only missing, okay.
You got 9, you're a little short. A couple short there.
Okay, I'm going to put the ones that I don't have right here, non-custody.
Okay. And where are they at?
Those, these ones are, he went to foster care. One's with the grandmother. Then I have the other one who Dad took custody.
Okay.
So.
Tell me something about Patrick. Do you know anything about Patrick?
He stays in Texas. I mean, we were together for about 2 years.
What's his last name?
Strong. We wasn't together actually too long. He was just like an internet thing.
Do you know his? Do you know his like when he was his birth date or anything?
No, that I did not. You know, we.
What's Jordan's last name?
Rodriguez. He took it from me.
You got a phone number here, man?
His phone just recently disconnected. Oh, my phone, 216-456-4301.
Okay. So how many kids, you have these children to live with you, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 live with you.
Yes.
Do you live here by yourself, or do you live with
technically,
anyone?
I'm here by myself. I mean, Chris comes and goes, you know, back and forth.
Chris is the one that's in jail right now.
Yes, he's been in jail since October 24th, or October 25th.
Okay. And that's in Medina County.
Yes.
What was he arrested for?
He was arrested for child support.
Oh, child support?
Yes.
Jeez. How many kids does he have?
He has one.
One?
And he's 15. Yeah.
Oh, the other boy is 15? Okay. Okay. Man, I would really love to get in touch with Jordan.
Okay. Is there any way I can give you, when I find the number, to contact you?
Kids you got?
I got 2.
Any of the kids disabled?
He's not really disabled, but that's the one that's with his dad.
No?
No.
Oh, what do you mean?
He's just SSI. He can't talk.
How old is he?
He just turned 5.
Okay.
That's the one.
Where does he live?
He's
Texas.
staying. He doesn't live there, but he's just visiting for the holiday.
What? In Texas?
Yeah.
And where he usually lives here?
Yeah.
Okay. What? You got a family members in Texas?
That's why I said, is there a number or something where I can contact you guys?
How long has he been in
No,
Texas?
you can get it now. It's not a big deal. We'll wait. Right.
How long has he been in Texas?
He's been only over there for a couple weeks.
Jordan Rodriguez may be buried in Larissa Rodriguez's backyard, and the police are aware of this as they question her. When she told the officers that she was unable to contact Jordan's father in Texas, the officers' suspicions increased. How do you allow your child to spend the holidays in Texas without being able to reach him? The kids who live with Larissa Rodriguez are aware of the location of their younger brother's grave in the backyard. Larissa convinced her kids to keep their mouths shut, a family member close to her told Crime Champs. "Do you want the police to remove your mother?" Larissa questioned. The children answered in a scared manner. "Don't discuss this situation with anyone," Larissa continues.
Because he goes over there to, visit and stuff like that.
Wait a minute, he goes where to?
No.
He goes.
Yeah.
I
want to say sperm donor, but
He goes to Texas to visit?
yeah. He goes there, he went there last year, went there this year.
Okay.
Because he just goes to visit family out there. But other than that, he's here.
So Jordan has family members in Texas?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Do you know any numbers or how to get in touch with anybody who actually lives in Texas?
Right now, his phone just got disconnected.
What's his address?
I'm waiting for him to call me.
What's his address?
I don't
you
know
just
his
didn't send
name.
the kid to who knows who, right?
No. I don't know the address personally because me and his dad don't really associate like that.
But you let him go with him, right?
Right. He just had his phone disconnected. He's going to be calling me with the phone number. And that's the only way I can contact him.
The results came to light after 2 days of police and FBI investigation into the whereabouts of Jordan Rodriguez, 5, who has developmental disabilities and cannot speak. Before locating the body, FBI and medical examiner investigators dug in the backyard for about 3 hours. On Tuesday, detectives swarmed West 80th Street between Detroit and Lake Avenues to conduct their investigation. Larissa Rodriguez, Jordan's 34-year-old mother, was detained on suspicion of murder. She is not formally charged of any crimes. Her boyfriend Christopher Rodriguez, 36, is currently serving a 6-month sentence in the Medina County Jail for failing to make child support payments. According to police reports, Larissa Rodriguez told officers that her son visited his biological father in Houston, Texas. The boy was picked up on December 2nd by his aunt, she informed the police. According to police reports, she was unable to give the boy's biological father or aunt's contact information. According to police reports, she was also unable to provide any additional information about her son. Larissa Rodriguez has a long history with the county's Job and Family Services, which includes the removal of her 2 oldest children from her custody a number of years ago. 4 children who lived with her before her arrest and 2 more who live with their father were placed in emergency custody immediately. Jordan was once tied up and had a sock in his mouth, according to Ana Rodriguez, Larissa Rodriguez's sister. She was also informed by a friend that she had recently witnessed Jordan nearly dead in a closet. Ana Rodriguez, who referred to her nephew as a sweet kid, claimed that she informed the county's child social workers about both incidents. Ana Rodriguez said, "I'm just so hurt and angry following the discovery of the remains. I'm puzzled as to why they would subject him to this."
All right, Larissa, we're going to speak to you one last time. We got a meeting with the prosecutor to decide what's going to happen. I am going to re-advise you your rights. You do have a right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. You have a right to an attorney. If you can't afford one, be appointed for you. Do you still understand your rights?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Some things have changed overnight. We did a lot more work on this. We just have a few questions. When this all happened, did you have a cell phone back then?
When this all happened, yeah. I just can't remember what number I had.
What kind of phone was it?
I had it was the same one as my daughter, the Samsung Galaxy on 5.
What color is it?
Silver and black.
Okay. Did you also have like a Samsung phone with a white backing? Like a brand new one?
Oh, I know which phone you're talking about. That we found, my daughter had found that. It was between two phones that was in the house. There was a bigger one.
Well, this one was found underneath your back porch.
Oh, probably my kids. Probably took it and threw it back there.
Which kid?
I don't know. Probably one of my little ones.
Why would they throw it
Because
back?
they play with it.
Oh.
It don't work. You know, we found it and if we couldn't get it to break the code or whatever. Actually, Mariana found it when we was walking to the gas station. So we couldn't break the code or nothing, so we just let the kids play with it.
Okay. When I tell you some things have changed is we did talk with the coroner.
Okay.
And they finished their initial examination. And there are some problems.
Like?
The problems being Jordan had an old left wrist fracture. His left wrist was broken at some point and it was healed. It healed on its own. How? That's something you need to tell us. Jordan also has 3 fractured left ribs that healed on their own and a fractured right rib that healed on its own. And these are all injuries that were healing on their own without medical help, which means he was in a lot of pain for a very long time, and you're not being honest about what was happening to this kid.
See, what happened, I mean, I personally didn't, but I was scared myself, okay?
Scared of?
I think talking to my sisters yesterday actually opened up my eyes a little bit and made me realize I should not be the only one taking full blame for this. I never put my hands on my kids. You can ask any of them. And a lot of people used to tell me maybe that's why sometimes your kids don't listen. You know, sometimes I need to be more rough on them, but that's just not in me. To sit here and...
I don't want to be that mother either. I just don't want to be that mother either.
Right, I don't. I mean, I was like that when I was little. I can't be that type of mom to sit there and expect you, okay, my kid may do something wrong, but I see other discipline, you know, timeouts, you know, corner, you know, bedroom, you know, sometimes my Help Me Grow worker even seen it herself. You know, no matter how bad my little ones can act up, I never had that in me to hit my kids. But I think I was just so scared because I used to get my ass beat by Chris just because I defended my kids. My daughter, my oldest daughter, my older son can tell you, my older son had to pull a knife on him because he put his hands on me the way he did.
How long were you and Chris together?
About 2 years.
Okay. And he was living with you from day one?
Yeah.
All right. Our understanding is that you were dating someone else who moved out and you met Chris online?
I was with Jake.
Okay.
But Jake wasn't in the house for more than 2 weeks.
Right.
Since when
and he
I
left
first
and then
moved
Chris
in.
came in?
Right.
And you met him online?
Yes.
All right.
So, if I could interject.
Yeah, please.
So what I see happening is like, I think March of 2016, you were going through the process of trying to enroll Jordan in a class that's specific for him. But is it Chris that doesn't want him to do this? Or is... because what I'm reading...
I did try to get him enrolled in school and stuff like that.
Because what I read was Jordan would have benefited from an environment with children like him. He is autistic, most probably.
Yes. And what I did was, it was almost through the year. So when I talked to the development for the school, I said, well, they either said, well, I could send him now or send him next year. I preferred that he would have started the following year, so that way he's got a whole entire full year. And that's what my, intentions was, to send him to school.
Put your kid at the front of the class as opposed to the...
Yes.
I did the same thing with my daughter.
Yes, because I wanted my son to actually be around other kids, to actually learn and to actually,
Sure you want some coffee or water?
I'll take some.
Coffee?
Yeah.
Cream and sugar?
Yes, please. And I I was doing what I can, you know, and if you notice, none of my kids or nothing ever went through this, and so I got with Chris.
I know. That's why, listen, Nina, I'm not trying to give you a hard time. I'm a mother and you're a mother.
And
I know you're grieving.
My sisters made me realize that, you know, like...
Listen, I know you had a horrible upbringing.
That's terrible.
I know. So the most that we can do now is to... I understand where you're at, okay? But I have to press you on certain points. That's my job. I
understand.
And it's as a human being, I know it hurts you. I can see that it hurts you.
Ever since day one, ever since everything happened, I wanted to reach out. I wanted to tell somebody. The day it happened, the first person I wanted to talk to was my counselor. I wanted to tell her what happened just because I was just so scared. I needed somebody to confide in.
Okay.
And I don't have that support.
When you say the day that it happened, do you mean?
The same exact day.
September 21st?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, I needed somebody to talk to. And in my heart, something told me that he did something to my son.
You have to make the coffee here if you want something.
Okay, thank you. In my heart, I just knew something was wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I just knew it. Like, you know, okay, if he can hit on me and he can discipline my other kids, but he wouldn't discipline them like he did Jordan.
Mm-hmm. How does he discipline Jordan?
It was just different. I mean, as far as, you know how you said the sock in the mouth, none of my kids got the sock in the mouth, only Jordan. And I used to sit there and tell him, don't do that. You know, I used to get yelled at. My kids all can tell you I defended all my kids. And that's where a lot of me and his arguments came in, because I did defend my kids. And that's where he would put his hands on me. He even put a sock in my mouth when I tried to yell for help. I felt like I was stuck. And every time something like that would happen, he would always bring up and make me feel like guilty, like I was the one who did that to Jordan. And I didn't hurt Jordan.
Well, so what, let me just say this. We've seen pictures. Up until Christopher Rodriguez comes in the picture, he's a healthy child.
And he was healthy.
He was healthy. However, for whatever reason, he focused on that child. I don't know what that reason was.
And he tried to keep everybody away from me. I couldn't have friends. I couldn't have family. I couldn't have nobody.
I may have missed this. Did he actually physically abuse him? Did you see him?
A few times that I've seen, yes.
Okay. And what did he do?
He would smack him. He would, I mean, me personally, didn't see him fracture anything. I didn't, you know, wasn't around, or if I went to the store, or if I, you know, went out with my kids or something.
You won't see a fracture.
You won't. That's why it shocked me, because
it's a compound fracture.
Right, because
you won't see it.
My son had a fracture when he jumped off the bicycle. He was on the bike with my older son. So I know, you know, like, I took him to the hospital for that fracture. Like,
but a rib fracture? You won't see that.
But see, I wish I would, you know, it was just like Jordan trying to tell me something. When I told you that when he finally took his last breath, it was like he was mad. You know, like, I seen in his face like he just wanted to tell me something. But I just didn't know what that something was. And with him being speechless, I mean, I couldn't understand what it was. But I could tell it was just something so mad, you know, like angry. And I thought he, you know, like he was trying to cuss me out or something. But I took it as he was just trying to tell me, Mom, I love you, I gotta go, you know? But in my heart, something told me that he had something to do with this. Because every time after this happened, I just hated him.
I hated everything. I hated it. I just couldn't stand to be around him.
Did you ever ask him to leave?
I did. And he told me that if I was to call the cops, that he had the gas in his name, that they would tell me that he resides there, that he can't leave. So I just felt like I was trapped. And I even told him, this is my house. You have to go. But then he always threw up, well, if he leaves, he's calling the cops and he's blaming everything on me. Which I didn't hurt Jordan. I take the fault for not taking him to the doctor. Yes, that was my fault. And my other fault was doing
tissues, Ray. Bring tissues, Ray.
Was given the idea to do that. But I didn't hurt Jordan.
I know.
It's not in my heart to hurt Jordan.
I know that. Do you know Jordan looked just like you? He looked just like you. Same face.
There was not one day ever since that happened I never thought about it.
I didn't know if you wanted cream, but...
Because Jordan didn't deserve this.
What do you want?
Tissues.
Oh, okay.
Please. Jordan's not, because we have your DNA, he's not identified yet. So I'm hopeful that later today he will be positively identified. You asked me if you could see him. I'm gonna steal one of these because you're starting to get to me.
I'm sorry.
Hey, listen,
and my sisters made me realize a lot. My sister, and I mean, I haven't talked to them in years. And they said, why are you taking the blame for this guy? And I admit, in my past, that's part of one of my counseling. I've had bad relationships, and it's a pattern.
Yeah.
It's a pattern, and that was something me and my counselor was working on. And this just happened to be another one that just...
Well, he might have been the worst one.
Yeah. I think it was.
You do know we're going to go talk to Chris. Have you talked to him at all during this time?
No.
Talked to him before you were put in jail?
I talked to him. It was the same day you guys all came. I mean, not you guys, but when they came to the house, and to me, it just seemed like he didn't care.
What did you tell him?
Like, I told him...
He was in jail at the time?
Yes, he called me about 6 o'clock that evening, because that's when he got supposedly off of work, from in the work or whatever he did in the kitchen. And he's like, what's going on? I guess because the detectives went to talk to him. And when they went to talk to him, I guess they were asking him questions. He didn't specifically go into... He just wanted to know more about what happened on my side.
What you said.
Right. So when I sat there and I told him, and he was just like, he didn't seem like I was. You know, like I was scared, I was nervous, I'm, you know, shaking and spooked, and you know, he just seemed so calm. And, you know, like...
Did he tell you what to say, what you should say, what you shouldn't say?
No. That's why when you guys came and say, now he changed up his story to something about December 2nd, that's because he heard me say it over the phone. He didn't know anything about what I told the police. But
so when we confront him with Jordan's injuries, is he going to tell us otherwise, that you're the one who did it?
A woman can't do it hit that much harder. And you know what? Anybody can tell you that. And I say that...
That's not true.
I mean, he's a lot stronger
than
I am. And me personally, you could even ask my older son. My older son will tell you. No, Angel.
Angel?
My older son will be the one to, if anything, between my older son and my oldest daughter.
Do you know how we would get a hold of Angel? I mean, do you know that number? Does he live on Wade Avenue with his dad? Or do they live someplace else in the first district?
His dad moved. I could try to get my little sister to contact Angel.
Okay.
Yeah. Because Angel right now, they message through Facebook Messenger. But I remember him leaving my oldest daughter a message with a phone number.
The oldest daughter is Mariana?
Yes. But I don't even know if the detectives got her phone. I mean, I tried calling. She's not answering. So I don't know if the detectives got it for like evidence or something like that.
Yeah, I don't have an answer. I don't think they do, but we'll find out.
Okay, because I've been trying to call her just to see how she's been doing.
Well, I think right now she's in custody with foster care. So I think right now it's probably in her best interest that they keep the kids away from all this. Give them a break.
Right.
Christmas is coming up.
Yeah.
New Year's is coming up. Let them enjoy the holidays. They're going through enough right now. Because we're going to sit down with Mariana and have a talk with her too, but we're trying to give her some time to.
And can you guys at least tell her so that way she doesn't feel like she's scared, she doesn't have to talk? Can you guys please tell her that you guys know that I did open up and tell them and tell you guys?
We will tell her that you told us
because
the truth. She doesn't open up too much. And
well, she's probably older than her years.
Yeah.
She'd be more comfortable talking with Detective Remington?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then
I mean, not only that, but at the same time, if she knows that mom opened up and mom, you know, was honest and told, then she'll feel like it's okay for her to open up. That she doesn't have to feel scared that he's gonna do something.
Okay.
So, do you want to know about the children? So you have 4 older children.
They
split them 2 and 2.
2 and 2. And one of the dads was just here yesterday. They came and saw me yesterday.
Okay.
But I kind of almost refused their visit, but I didn't. Just because something told me it would make me feel better.
So the older children are 1 hour from the city of Cleveland. They're together, 2 and 2 in 2 different homes.
Girls with the girls and the boys with the boys?
I don't know that specifically. All I know is that Erica Armstrong and Bill Rozier, I think.
I don't know who that is.
So they're in charge of their placement. That family is keeping them away from the television. So they're not seeing what's going on. Ray and I decided that the state of Ohio mandates that DCFS talks with them in the first week. We decided, between the 2 of us, that in the first week, we don't want to talk with them. Because you wouldn't believe this based on our interview yesterday, but I spent 10 years in sex crimes and child abuse. I want to give your children a chance to decompress, to have normal holidays.
Right.
And then
to let this, you know, pass over through the holiday.
This is traumatic, and when they find out that Jordan is deceased, it will further be traumatic. So, in their first visit, a counselor from Frontline will be with them, and they will explain to them that Jordan is deceased. And then Ray and I would like to sit down with Mariana because she's the oldest, and it's my understanding, you can correct me if my understanding is wrong, she was close with Jordan. And it's also my understanding that Mariana may have been touched physically by Christopher Rodriguez.
No, not in my knowledge.
Okay.
Mariana, and I know that for a simple fact because Mariana was always with me.
Okay.
Mariana's a mama's girl.
Okay.
She's never been alone with him.
That's good.
She's always, every time I go to the store, it's Mom, I'm going with you. You know, so that for a fact, I know.
Has she ever witnessed
She
anything between you and Chris?
No. I mean, are you talking about like
sex?
No.
Okay.
No, none of my kids.
Okay.
None of my kids. I'm not that type of mom where we sit there and make it. You know,
I don't think you are, but if he's a predator, in other words, if he's attracted to you because he's got a home with you, he's got somebody putting a roof over his head and feeding him, and he's really attracted to kids, then he's playing you to get to her. And she may be afraid to tell you that.
Okay, as a mom,
Will you guys look into that for me?
I absolutely will.
I mean, because I personally don't think that, but who knows, you know? And I say that because I was, you know, touched when I was little, when I was 5 years old, by my foster brother, my 18-year-old foster brother. And they always say, if it happened to you, it could be possible it happened to your child. And I just want to make sure that that's cleared.
Well, I want to give her the floor to share that with me, if it has happened. And she has a unique relationship with her brothers and sisters in that.
And I also say that too, because her bond with Chris wasn't too. Mariana's one. She doesn't cling on to everybody. You know, as far as males. You know, as far as mom, yeah, she's very close to that. She's always been with me. Dad's never been there. You know, she's never really had a father figure to step up and be that father figure, which she thought was Chris until the day Chris put his hands on me. You know, and it's just like, that's why their relationship wasn't too, until kind of like towards the end-ish, you know, like recently, to where her bond is okay. You know, it's not like.
How far into the relationship are you and Chris before he puts his hands on you?
I would say, because it's technically not 2 years until this February. So it's been a year. About a year, right? About? No.
Well, I think he comes into the picture in February of 2016.
No, March.
Okay.
He came in March.
Okay.
It was
2015 or 16?
16, because this is going to be 18 in a minute.
Yeah. So
it would be.
So it would be actually 2 years in March.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been, what, about a year?
So you're a year in when he puts his hands on you the first time?
When he finally put his hands on me the first time was when his brother came into town. And I'm the type where, okay, if you make plans, at least make them ahead of time. You knew your brother was coming into town. And if we had plans, you're going to stop our plans just to be with your brother. You know, and I kind of got upset because he said, oh, come on, let's go play some basketball. You know, you complain about our time. Mm-hmm. You know, now that we have our time, you know, where, you know, kids are, you know, it's just family, mm-hmm. you know? And then when we do have our time, you want to go run off with your brother. And so, I mean, I addressed it to him. No attitude, no nothing, you know, and he just got pissed. He just got real furious.
Which brother?
His brother Scotty, the one that's in Pakistan or wherever he is. He just got real pissed, started hitting me, and, you know, just literally that day he gave me a black eye.
Does Scotty know about this?
No. I mean, every time we got into it, he would always call his brother, but always make me look like I'm the bad one.
So
but he knows.
His brother
but he knows his brother. Come on now. Sometimes he would get mad because his brother would defend me. So he knows, you know, like situations that we've been through. You know, some things that he's always called them every time. You know, or talk about he's gonna pack up his stuff and leave, and you know, it's just okay. Then leave. I would have been more happy, you know. But maybe all this would have been told and said long time ago. You know, maybe that would. But with him not leaving, with him threatening me, with him putting his hands on me, it got so bad my son grabbed a knife on him. And I'm sorry, I know this is domestic violence towards me, but I see it as self-defense. He's got a scar on his back because I did it. Self-defending myself. Because he went and literally choked me, put me in the kitchen, slammed me against stuff, had a knife in his hand. I found something, I don't know whether it was a screwdriver or something. I just grabbed something and just got him right in the
police out to the house? Somebody called?
No, nobody. Nobody.
And that's what gets me is that street is so highly protected by police that why didn't somebody? I mean, I even tried to jump out the window, try to get some help from somebody. I feel like I couldn't even leave my house. And then when I sat there screamed, he put a sock in my mouth. So I couldn't. And then was sitting there screaming, you know, like I'm screaming, and he's sitting there choking me.
Let me ask you this. Is he, what you described to me about Jordan losing weight in his arms while developing a pot belly, that's malnutrition?
See, you can, even when you talk to my daughter, that's why I thought something was wrong going on with his kidney.
Okay, but
because he was losing the weight, he was doing, you know, but...
I'm not saying you did this. My question is that some sort of discipline that he does to this child?
No.
Does he withhold food from him?
No. That's why none of us ever thought it would have been anything like that. Me, I thought it was his kidney because when he eat, everybody eat. All my kids eat first. I served every single last kid of mine first. And my daughter and my son, anybody can tell you. When I cook big meals. Mm-hmm. And Jordan, he was one to always eat. Mm-hmm. Always. We get pizza, he eats like 5-6 pieces of pizza. And you know, it surprises me because he was like, where do you put it, Jordan? You know, like, I mean, he always ate. That's why it surprised me when he started kind of losing his appetite. And I used to have to sit with him and say, Jordan, you got to at least eat something. At least take a couple bites. Well, you know, because I never had that problem with him.
When does he begin losing his appetite?
I don't know the specific date. I mean...
Roughly 2 months.
Summertime, springtime, wintertime?
I could say it was about maybe summer, early summer. You know, he started losing appetite. I got him to at least drink something. I don't, you know, like some behaviors where I saw where I'm called for. Sometimes Jordan will wake up. I mean, remember how I told you, like, with his rocking?
That's a signature. I don't mean to...
No, he's always did that ever since when he was a baby.
That's sort of a signature of children who have spent time in an incubator or children who are autistic. They will rock and self-soothe themselves.
See, that's the first time I heard that. Because I even asked the doctor too, and I was like, why does he do that? You know, I guess...
Self-soother.
Because I wasn't there to, you know, rock him and cuddle him, and, you know, until he was 4 months. That was what he used to do. And then used to get up in the middle of the nighttime. I used to, like, he would sleepwalk. So I would, you know, sometimes have to keep an extra eye on him because I caught him one time going to the bathroom, getting toilet water and drinking toilet water. And I'm looking like, why is he, you know, like, is he even alert when he's doing this? You know, it would be like certain behavior, you know, like, and I used to have to stop him. He would go straight to the refrigerator. I don't even know if he's like awake when he's doing this or if he's sleeping or, you know, it's just things that I had to watch out with him. And he would just like get into anything and everything. And I noticed that when he did it, even after Jordan was gone, my other son was doing it. My other little son, my 4-year-old. And I'm looking like, is it because he watched Jordan do it? Or why is he doing the same thing that Jordan was doing?
That's a good question. I don't know.
I mean, is it a behavioral thing? I mean, it's just something that okay, I recognize that. Jordan used to do that. You know, like, and it was just, and Jordan was perfectly fine. It was just something I felt like in that house too. Like it was not really wanting us there. You know, like a sense of something. And I guess I don't know if you guys heard about this, but I found out after I moved there. Because when I went to see the house, it had a caution thingy wrapped around it. Kind of like on the front bush. And I looked like maybe it was just for a Halloween decoration or something. But the neighbors and somebody had told me that actually a father had killed his son. Or something happened there. So it kind of like, you know, like, wait a minute, you know, this house is just like bad luck, you know. And I mean, Jordan's behaviors didn't start till we moved there, in that house. I never seen Jordan behavior act any different, you know. His behavior just changed, you know. It's just like I had to observe him a lot more there, you know. Things that he was doing, I've never seen him do.
Well, to be fair, by the time you moved there, he's really developing. An autistic child may be a little bit delayed.
Right, and he was 3 months delayed.
He's probably even more delayed than that. If we didn't get him into school. But he's developing into himself at age 3. So is it a coincidence? I don't know. Is there something to do with this house? Perhaps.
But after you know, the things happened with Jordan, my other little one, he was 3 when he was doing the same thing Jordan was doing.
Right. Is it a coincidence? I don't know. Is there, obviously you believe in spirits.
I've went through a couple things myself, so that's why, like, I mean,
I believe in spirits too, good and bad.
I've actually had one.
What kind of spirit is Christopher Rodriguez?
He's a Roman Catholic. So
I'm not talking about his religious affiliation.
Like, what do you mean? He believes in Saint Michael.
Does he have a good soul with light in it, or does he have a black soul?
I say he's got a little bit of both. But when his anger comes out, it's real nasty. It's terrible.
So he's an angry black cloud.
Yeah, I could say he went through a lot of things too in his life, but I mean, I've never been with somebody so angry like that. I mean,
everybody sitting here in this room has been through some horrible things in their life.
Right.
And
I mean, I even did too. But I mean,
but you didn't. I'd turn them around to your kids.
No, never.
But
never.
The difference is, and this is my experience of 10 years working over there. Those ain't his kids.
Right.
His mouth may say, "These are my kids."
Right. But his action speaks.
But at the end of the day, that's some other man's kid. And if he's interfering with my time, with you,
right. And his thing was always, oh, you know, your baby daddy's gonna try to come back, and this and this and that, and oh, that's my kid, and you know, it was always just something with him. I mean,
so he's jealous. In addition to all that, he's a jealous guy.
Very, very, and that's one reason why I don't have my Facebook, is because I get compliments about how pretty I am and this and this and that, and all I said was thank you. It was a compliment. That's what you say when somebody gives you a compliment, right? Thank you.
Right.
There was no conversation other than thank you, and I had to hear it.
Male or female? Could be.
There was one time everything was perfectly fine. He was sitting up in the room. Says that the ghost spirit in the house, the female ghost spirit that we have in our house, sat there and told him to look at my Facebook, looking on somebody in the past.
Let's see if our 9 o'clock can set up the other one.
It was somebody in the past that we never did anything. We were friends.
Okay.
Nothing, and I got accused.
Listen, I have a really unique perspective into what your life is like. There's almost no female that I've ever met that hasn't had an unwanted sexual experience. And what those unwanted sexual experiences create are broken souls. So, I completely understand the position that you're in. And if you want to continue this conversation later today, I'm happy to do that. If you want me to pull you back over here, I'm happy to do that. I feel for where you're at, because no woman should ever have to bury their child, and I think you did the best you could with what you had, but that guy was using you.
And that's why I told my sisters too. I said, if I ever get up out of here, I'm not going back. My sister says that they would help me get back on my feet, do what I have to do, because I was always always had my own. Always had my kids. My kids have never been a day without me. This is my first Christmas without my kids.
At the end of the day, and I understand how you feel about if I ever get up out of here. I don't know what they're going to charge you with. My suspicion is it's going to be murder B. That's my suspicion.
And what gets me is he's not going to get charged for anything.
Oh, now that's not going to be true. And that's not going to be true.
And what is murder B?
It's it's causing the death of another without a plan to actually do it.
And how much time and what am I really looking at? Can you tell me?
I can't.
Or just like a kind of, like a...
I would say, honestly, I would say probably double digits.
What's that?
At least in the neighborhood of a double digit. Now, I don't know what happens later on down the line. And I'm not in charge of that. I can only tell you that I had one other scenario that was very similar to this, and that particular female is doing 8 years. But I would submit this to you. Were it me in your shoes, I would be thankful that my children are in homes where the adults can take care of them. This is not going to prohibit you from having conversation with your children. This is not going to prohibit you from having a place in your children's life. You will still have communication with them. And you have a unique opportunity here. It doesn't matter what you do to your children. They will always love you. The important thing here is that you tell the truth, all the truth, even the truth as they see it. You ask for forgiveness and you move forward. Christopher, and I promise you, I know you wanted to punch me in the nose yesterday, and I accept that.
I was being sarcastic. I'm so sorry.
You weren't being sarcastic. You were angry.
I was just...
And it's my job.
But I'm not a fighter.
It's my job to make you angry.
I think I kind of got off that way because I'm so used to, like, being, like, when the guys come at me like that, it just, I don't know, it's just like...
Do you understand that it's your eternal need to be with a guy that is attracting guys like that?
And that's what I need to change.
Well, and this is a unique opportunity to do that. I have heal to do for that myself. Part of you.
Right.
So kids who are touched when they're kids wind up either hyper promiscuous or they wind up not at all promiscuous. It's up to you what you decide you were. But at the end of the day, both camps only feel good about themselves if they have a significant other. You have to heal that. You have to be comfortable with you. I don't need anyone else. I'm at peace with being alone, and only when I'm healthy will I attract someone else who's healthy. And I can say that because I'm 50. And I've been you. There's a reason why I was so good at what I did across the hall. Do you understand what I'm saying to you?
You still are. You do a very good job.
Do you understand what I'm saying to you? I've been you. As a kid, my life wasn't as... Not that you can compare them.
Say it wasn't so gravy.
But my point is, everybody has a story, right? it wasn't so gravy. But I had a good mom. I had a really good mom. And I don't think you did. And I don't think you had a great dad either.
I really didn't know my dad. He passed away when I was 5. I mean, I really didn't know too much about him. I knew my mom. You know, I got to meet her because I grew up in foster care myself. But I had got to meet her when I was 14. She gave up custody of all of us. We got lucky because we had a foster home that took all 3 of us,
right.
All 3 sisters.
Right.
And I seen it as they mistreated us too. So I can't say all foster homes and all adopted homes are the greatest. But they kicked me out and gave me back to my mother at the age of 14, which the courts told me that they wasn't supposed to.
Mm-hmm.
And it was court papered. And my mom was out there, drugs, might as well say prostitution, because she was out there. And she didn't have a great life herself.
Mm-hmm. And she had a horrible ending.
Yeah. And
So
I remember everybody
your...
telling me that, you know what, hopefully I don't end up like her.
This is your unique opportunity to change the end of your life.
Because I could have been dead.
Of course you
I
could
could have been dead.
And
it used to get him mad because sometimes even after the situation with Jordan, it used to get me mad because he put his hands on me and choked me. And I had knots in my head and I said, I just wish I was with Jordan. And he said, what did you say? I said, I wish I was with Jordan. I wish I could take Jordan's place for him. You know, and he was just like, you know, because he didn't like the fact that I used to bring him Jordan. Oh, you know, you don't need nobody hearing, you know, what happened and this and this and that. He would get pissed off.
What do you think he did to Jordan?
I think that morning, technically, something had to happen. I don't know what it could have been. Something had to happen because Jordan wouldn't just collapse like that. You know, I don't know if maybe he might have pushed him, shoved him, punched him, could have even punched him.
Does he punch him?
Who knows? No, I've never seen him. But I mean, if you're talking about any type of fractures, I mean, who's to say?
There's a big difference between punching a child in the face where you're going to see the mark, or punching a child.
I'm going to interview the other one now.
Okay. Punching a child in the rib cage, and no one sees that. So what I'm saying to you is, this guy's a street dude. He knows how to hit.
Right.
He knows how to hit somebody in soft places with a hard object and not leave a mark. So what did he put a kidney shot on that boy? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Who's to say?
What did he was pissed off at that kid for whatever reason, puts a kidney shot on the good kidney, and it's lights
and it's
out.
shut down.
Yeah. So now we could be very likely leaning toward a situation where Jordan was beaten to death based upon all these pre-mortem injuries that are in different stages of healing.
And something told me, I don't know what it was, it's just a feeling that he had something to do with this. Because I not once, ever, and as you've seen for yourself, pictures and everything, I've always posted. My kids were always healthy. I've always took care of my kids. I never hit my kids. Everybody used to tell me, even the officer at the house, as you can, he's like, maybe you need a spanking, you know, and that's not in me to do that. You know, when I was little, I got hit with extension cords. I got hit with boards. I had to kneel on rice on a carpet. And I told myself, those are things I never want my kids to go through. Nothing.
Hey, I don't want to be that mom either.
That's horrible.
I don't want to be that mommy. I don't want to compel my child through fear. So,
and I remember he always used to tell me, well, you need to discipline your kids and this and this and that. And it's just like, I'm doing my best to discipline my kids.
what is his definition of discipline?
His, I guess, is more like spanking, and I don't know what he considers discipline.
Did you see him put the sock
Sometimes.
in Jordan's mouth and put him in a
One
corner?
time I did, yes. And I didn't like it. I didn't.
Did he make Jordan sit in the closet?
Not that I know of. Not that I know of, but it can't no say when I step out or, you know, something like that. But as far as the closet goes, I know my kids play in the closet. That's all I know.
Mm-hmm.
You know, my kids love to sit there and hang on the little bar thingy. And one time I caught my little one just sitting on the shelf up there, and I'm like, what are you guys doing? You know, typical kids.
Playhouse.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
But as far as that, I don't know. But my Jordan didn't deserve any of this. None.
Well, and what I suggested to you yesterday is that the only way you heal yourself from all of this is to take responsibility for your side of the street. Meaning, if I drank, if I doped, if I didn't keep house, if I didn't put sheets on your bed, if I didn't feed you, if I was overwhelmed, if I didn't do my part to take care of you, then I own that. And
Right, just like I take the responsibility. I didn't take him to the doctor. That was my fault.
mm-hmm.
I mean, I didn't call the ambulance when he needed it. That was my fault.
Mm-hmm.
I also had part in putting him there because I just had a baby.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, and I'm feeling depressed. I diagnosed with PTSD,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And
probably postpartum.
And, you know, I didn't know what to do. You know, I just got scared, and I just was like, you know, and I wasn't ready to let Jordan go because I've been through so much with Jordan. You know, by myself, even before I got with Chris, I was taking him to the doctor. I mean, it was a lot, but I was working on getting there because my social worker, my counselor has a preemie, so she was working with me on some things that I could do with Jordan.
Well, let me ask you this. I don't know who Patrick Strawn is. My understanding from you is that this was a one-time liaison with him or a couple of time liaison with him?
Yeah, and then I got pregnant, and here comes Jordan, and I didn't want nothing to do with him. He didn't want nothing to do with me.
Okay.
So I told him, I sent him back, and I told him, you need to go to Texas, back home where, you know, where you are.
So, but my question to you is, not to cut you off, and I know you need to talk about this stuff to get it out. The law says that he has a right to Jordan because he's the father. What that he never comes forward or we don't find him?
He's not going to come forward. He's not.
Then whom would you want to have Jordan? Michelle?
My sister, and I talked to her last night.
Michelle or Anna?
Michelle.
Okay.
Because she's more responsible. Michelle's more responsible. She's the oldest.
So, in the absence of Patrick Strawn, you would want her to have Jordan's remains?
Yes.
And to follow through with what she wanted to do, which was a cremation?
Yes.
And to divide the remains between his siblings?
I think that would be best. I talked to her yesterday, and I told her I was going to let you know that, you know, because we all agree, he's never been there. He never wanted no part of Jordan. And even on Facebook, I could even show you from old messages. You know, I sent him pictures of when he was in the NICU.
Mm-hmm.
I told him when he was born. I didn't have to tell him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, those are things that even I try to connect with his sister. I didn't get nothing from
Well,
neither
what
one
if
of
they
them.
come back and they do want him? Then what?
I doubt it. I mean,
But if they do, then there's nothing we can do. I hope not, for your sake, and
me personally, I don't think they will. They've never stepped up before, so thinking, we just gotta think I'm just gonna have my sister do everything until further notice. If he does come through, if he doesn't, I don't know.
Okay.
But
do you have any questions for me at this juncture?
No. But would I still be able to see him or no?
So
to at least say my last, finals to him. I mean, if I can't, I'll just, say him in prayer or whatever to myself. But I think I just kind of need that, like, closure.
I don't suspect that they're done with their examination at this point. And I think that probably...
They're not going to.
They're probably not going to allow you that. And I don't think that you want to see photos of him. You actually physically want to see your child.
That's very true.
Is there any other questions you have for me at this juncture?
So they're gonna go ahead and charge me today?
Yes. I'm going to charge you today at some point, and you'll probably go to court in the morning, and then in the morning we're going to talk to the other half of the equation in Medina County.
Good luck with that.
Well, I really don't care if he speaks or not. And I want you to know that I helped to arrange the visit with your sisters.
Thank you. That helped a lot.
You can't go through this alone. And what I would say to you is I've had members of my own family do big chunks of time for some really fucked up shit.
And they told me, Larissa, you've never had a record. You shouldn't even be here.
Well, this is...
And now I feel bad because my little sister, she's taking it hard.
Well...
And I know that she feels it's her fault. And it's not her fault.
I assured her that the other half of the equation will be held responsible for his part in it. Because it's undeniable that when he comes into the picture, that this child's life changed irrevocably. So,
because I was in plenty other relationships before him and nothing happened.
I'll be right back.